So I'm starting another ARG series, and this ARG is chef's kiss, top tier. I don't think I've seen one that is better, like on TikTok. Like, look, there's animation. There's 13 different TikToks. It started on October 24th. There's a TikTok page. There's a Twitter page. There's a website. There's a YouTube page. Like, it's crazy. And like, we got our notes ready. I'm gonna go from video number 1 and we're gonna solve this ish. Okay, so we're gonna look at the very first video.
Hello,
Here's the first video.
Day whatever.
I'm gonna paraphrase the backstory because I don't think we can watch the entire video because I don't have that much time. But basically, if you do want to watch the entire video, click the sound and it'll be linked to the first original video. So basically, there's this person named PB. They don't know like where they come from. They don't know how long they've been there. They were just there, right? And they're in this room and they give us a little view of the room, and I drew out like basically a Hawkeye view of what I think the room would look like. So basically there's the bed, there's 2 lights on opposite ends, and then there's also 2 cameras, a chair, and a door. And this door has a mail slot and a 12-digit code thing. As you can see right here, you see, there you go. So later on, they actually are able to get out, and I'll explain exactly how that happened because it's actually really smart and like really detailed the way they encoded the clues. Okay, so video 2 and 3 aren't really, there's not a lot going on there. The only really thing is that like they are very interactive with comments. So if you go there and comment, like potentially they will do what your comment says. And also they just said like they don't know where they've been before and like they've always been there. Cool. For video 4, they play with the camera and also play with the keypad because that's what some people in the comments suggested. It's camera.
I couldn't find anything.
So what was important with them hitting the buttons was that like as you could hear, there's different notes for every button sound, and so that goes towards like a musical type thing, you know what I mean? Some people in the comments were also saying that like looking at the keys themselves and which ones are the most distressed, I could definitely see 8 and 0 and maybe 2. But the other ones I was a little confused about, but I'll talk about that a little later. Okay, so for the next video, they tried to break the window with the
Asking me to
chair.
throw a chair at the window, so
Anyway, it didn't work. But then they start talking about they're gonna try playing with the keypad next. Now, another thing to note is the day they posted their first TikTok, they also made a new Twitter. Twitter has like sort of inner thoughts as well as postings of the TikToks. There is also a YouTube channel as well where PB also responds to some of the comments here. Anyway, back to the chair. The chair broke, it didn't work. It's this TikTok that's really where things get interesting. Also, one thing I wanted to question is where did this come from? Where did that sheet come from? Because it wasn't there before and he's wearing all his clothes, so. Also, what is that? What is that black thing? Oh, that's the chair. That's the broken chair. I still don't know what that is. Anyway, so yeah, he starts playing around with this. So again, playing with the keyboard. In the next part, I'm going to try and explain exactly how they got the code to get out because it was very interesting. So for video number 4, they play around with the keypad and do this and show you the other side of the hallway, right? But then for like a split second, it goes to that, right? If you pause right here, you see these sketchings here, right? They seem pretty regular when you just look at it, but some people in the comments were like, it's a musical sheet. And sure enough, it looks exactly like sheet music with the ground staff. So I tried to write it out like this, you know, make it a little easier for you to see. If you read music, this is what the notes are. We got C, we got E, we got C, we got D, we got F. And so, gonna give credit where credit's due. The people in the comments were the ones that are like, see if they correspond to numbers. Now the question you're asking are which numbers? So I pulled out a piano so we can test this out together. Okay, so back to the sheet music. So this is middle C. Let's say middle C is 1. How far is this C from middle C? C, D, F, G, 8. So the first number is 8. Next we have E, which is 2 above C, which is 10, but we'll put 0. 0. Back down to C, which we know is 8. Now we go down to D, which if you count C as 1, 2. So D is 2. 2. And lastly, we have F, which is 4. I messed up. 4. So yeah, we get a code of 80824. Okay, I'm just gonna play the code so you guys can hear it, because why not? I don't think it's relevant, but here we go. See. DF. There you go. Bam. And yes, 80824 is the code. Ooh, sounds like what I just played.
It worked.
Ooh! They get out, they walk down the hallway and see this, which is just a person in a hazmat suit.
All right.
This person hasn't moved and is probably knocked, but there's a tank, a hazmat suit, and a note, and PB reads the note in the next video. Also, one other thing that I thought was strange was that the sign above the room where PB just came out from says emergency holding cell, so maybe something has gone wrong. So here's what the note says. Things that stood out to me were be ready for the other being, find my office before you leave, and Ethernet access. So PB also found this ID card. As you can see, this is the information, wrote it down to save for later. This is another video. PB gets out and shows what the building kind of looks like. Pretty big. This is the atrium. Also later on in the video shows this map, like a little bit of it. If you go to the Twitter, there's two versions of the map, one with an animated finger, which is so funny, and then one that's regular. So in this next video, PB has explored some of the offices, and they saw this note, which some of the people are arguing that they got .net instead of .com, so I tried to input the website infraredbiotech.net, and it does come to this. It has all of the extra net stuff, so it's definitely related. So I clicked around on this. It's like mission statements, and there's also news, and there's also a contact page. It seems like they're receiving a lot of messages. One thing I like to do is look at domain names and the information behind them, so I inputted that. Get some information. One, it's a Wix website, which is fine. And then two, it was registered on October 29th this year. So that means that the website was created the same day that PB was able to leave their room. PB also goes to Henry Carter's office, which is the person whose ID card we saw earlier.
Open this and look inside.
So opens it and finds a clone.
What is this?
It's like getting spicy. So then PB like vlogs by this clone. Apparently PB plugged their phone into this and it was downloading things. I want to know if they are going to show what the things were downloaded on their phone. So that'll be interesting to see what happened. Then there was also this note. And when we remember on a cloud, I'll be laughing out loud. I'll be laughing. Okay, whatever. Now, this actually corresponds to a song. I Googled the lyrics and it is the last couple lines of this song, which is called In an Aeroplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel. It was released in 1998. Apparently, it's largely influenced by the story of Anne Frank. Here's what the song sounds like. After listening to it, we realize this missing part is anything at all. The next video, PB answers a comment which talks about an employee-only part of the website. Now, this made me think back to this video from Entry 7, which talked about I hope you at least got the employee backend working of the website. So that corresponds with that employee-only part of the website. This is how I found the link because I didn't know where to click around and I thought it would take too long. So I did inspect, pull that up, copy and pasted a code that will show all of the links on a page, inputted that into the console, enter, and here are all the links on the page. I've seen all of these links except for this one. So I copy and paste it, bada bing, bada boom. And here we are. Crazy. Now for the ID, I wanted the ID number of Henry Carter, so I put that in as the user ID. For the password, I put the thing we found from the post-it note, which is anything at all, and click enter. And we are in. Now here is the employee part of the website. One thing we see is that external connections is extremely limited and they've temporarily ceased it. So it's mostly going to be internal, I'm guessing. Also, the Perfect Beam project is currently on hold. Private demonstrations of subjects is currently on hold. PB then probably stands for Perfect Beam. There's an article and it states that there's 4 generations of PB, so there's probably 4 of them. Apparently 3 of the 4 of them have names, but one doesn't, and I don't know if it's the one we're talking with or if it's a different one. This PB has been learning to paint. They're apparently waiting for a 5th PB generation. One thing to note is this at the bottom that talks about the notice of door code changes. So there is a default code on all doors, which is 1760, but some of them may be changed. Now, another thing to notice is this PB2 generation, which seems a little less sophisticated than the one we know. So probably this PB we know is a later generation. Okay, now this is the most recent video. It was posted 6 hours ago. He is at extranet servers and he's about to input the code of 1760, which we talked about from the site. however, it doesn't work. That makes sense because it talks about the default code being changed on a bunch of doors. Also, they state the keycard doesn't work either. And now PB's gonna go to extranet hardware. However, now this makes sense because on the internal updates, it says we have lost access to the external connections department, so upkeeps on the servers have ceased. So it makes sense that maybe the external servers rooms are locked. However, going to the map, which is on the Twitter, there's potential that PB can go to extranet hardware. Maybe those doors work, or the code hasn't changed. But also, there's all these other places PB could check out, so that should be really interesting, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Okay, so this is the most recent video. It was posted 2 hours ago, and PB is showing this video. So that video is the same as the video I showed in part 10 on the employee-only part of the InfraBiotech website. So it is a Generation 2 PB. As PB plays this, there's a note in the back that says, I owe Ann, Andy, Adam, I don't know, a sandwich. Not really that important, I don't think. What is important is when he turns the camera and we see this. When we see this calendar which says work smarter, not harder, and it's flipped to October 10th. So maybe October 10th, 2020 was the last day before things went weird in this facility. Now there's also this post-it note in the back with numbers. On PB's Twitter, he posts a picture specifically of the numbers. One number that pops out is 1760 because in the employee part of the website, we see that the default code for the doors was 1760, but has changed. So potentially the new door code is 5220. So he should try that, or maybe any of these, honestly. Also, PB will be listening to music next time. This is a video that PB posted 3 days ago. There's not a lot of clues here in and of itself. PB's kind of just vibing. The song is called Hedgehog by Renouncer. Basically, during this video, PB was showing his editing skills that he recently learned. Also, the creator of PB, who's this person, also stated that it was, a friend that made the song, and so, probably helping his friend out. So yeah, there weren't a lot of clues in this video specifically, but the next video has some more clues, which I'll cover in a sec. PB posted this video 6 hours ago, and he's going to input the code 5620, which I mentioned in the part 12 video I posted 6 days ago. So he inputs the code.
Oh, all right. Well,
and the door opens. Now PB tries to open this door in the background by following a blue wire to the switch. He gets to the switch and flips it, and then opens the door to what leads to external connections. Now he's just walking and talking through the hallway, but one thing that I saw was this whiteboard in the background. It says perfect being, agreeable, capable, friendly, perfect for you. I don't know what that says. Perfect for your friends? Maybe he's to be sold as like a little helper. Then he keeps walking, but here there's definitely someone in the background. Then the thing ends. 2 hours ago on his Twitter, he just tweets H. Okay, now PB posted another video 6 hours ago. I remember last time we saw that there was someone in the background. Like, there's clearly someone there. So people in the comments were like, yo, there's someone in the hallway. But PB's response was this.
For telling me about the person in the hallway. I tried to find them, but I couldn't. So I guess they don't want to be found. I have a problem.
See, that seemed like a really weird response to me, considering PB has been trying to figure out where other people are, that other researcher that was literally knocked out. And he's just like, yeah, I couldn't find the person and was chill about it. So that was kind of a red flag for me. This person on Instagram pointed out that this PB's nose in the new video was crooked. So I took clips from a couple of videos where I could see PB's face pretty well and compared them to each other. And you can clearly see that this nose in the newest video is significantly different from all of these noses, even though there's different lighting, which I thought could have been a factor. Also, the eyes are different. Also, the tone in his voice is kind of different. Like, it's a bit lower and slower, like hear it.
Hello, everyone.
If you compare it to the past intros from some of his other videos, it sounds like this.
Hello, everyone.
Like, the intonation in all the other ones is hello, 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 and then this one is hello, everyone. Like, it's very slight, and it may not really be a thing, but, like, it's one theory. So because of all of these weird differences, people are thinking this is not the real PB. Also, this part is weird.
Telling me about the person in the hallway. I tried to find them, but I couldn't. So I guess they don't want to be found.
You see, like, he just kind of pauses and, like, looks into the camera really intensely, like, I guess they don't want to be found. Pause. Kind of
I am.
smirks. Like, weird. Also, a confusing part is the end when he literally says, please help.
Please help.
See? So another reason people think that this may not be the regular PB is because of the way they changed their typing structure. So usually we see that PB, like this is an older video, PB will respond in complete lower caps, and you know, that's about it. Like specifically won't capitalize things like I, will capitalize PB though. And he does this literally all the time. But this PB that responds under this video, you see capital I, capital D, capital W, and all these weird smiley faces that PB has never used before. Also, the caption for the newest video is haha hey guys exclamation point smiley face, which is also kind of weird. Then under his YouTube, someone said they don't think it's the real PB, it sounded a little off. PB responded saying, instead of debating if I'm me or not, how about you find that code for me? Which is kind of rude, and PB has usually been very polite. So a lot of people are saying this is not him. Now the question that's left, if this isn't the regular PB, then who is he? Well, in one of the videos a couple of weeks ago, PB shows this newsletter that shows that there's 4 other PBs that look exactly like him. As you can see, here's a zoomed up version. And also in this video from a couple of days ago, we see him looking at a PB that's in sort of an incubation tank. Now, one theory is that it's this PB that escaped, but I think a better theory is that it's actually the PB that was in this incubator that is now empty. I say this because when we saw this random person just passed out and we think like there's some foul play, note that that person left beside them said, you'll need time to be ready for the other being. So I think the other being would have already been out by this time. Also, when we look at this video, this PB has a similar stance to this one and also has, you know, the jumpsuit as well, it seems. I think another thing that's kind of weird about this potentially different PB is that they randomly have knowledge that there's videotapes on this computer without any background, because we know PB woke up very confused and didn't know really how anything kind of worked. So
I need to get this computer to find videotapes of what happened here.
So why does this PB know that this computer specifically has videos of what's happening there? Also, it's just weird that PB still hasn't told anyone he's okay from this 1H comment from before, hasn't responded at all to this, and just has let people think like he's in trouble. Another potential theory is that this is actually the regular PB but has been beaten up by the other PB, which is why his nose is crooked. And this other PB is holding him hostage and making him unlock this computer for him. But our regular PB is trying to get people to know he's not okay, which is why he's acting super weird. So that's theory number 2. So I guess we have to wait and see what happens. Okay, so PB posted another video 20 minutes ago, and this kind of confirms to me that this is another PB, regardless of what he says. So again, the nose is crooked. Even in this lighting where we see him straight on, it's crooked, which is different from the first PB that we saw. Also, side note, the note that I was trying to figure out on the whiteboard before says perfect for your needs. So definitely PB is used to help people complete tasks or something. PB says he's not held hostage.
I'm not held hostage. I promise. Okay?
Kind of weird and condescending. He also says this, which is kind of weird.
I don't think I'm your PB anymore, but I'm PB nonetheless.
The fact that he uses the word nonetheless means that he's potentially a different PB, but because he is a PB, he is technically PB. So maybe this is not, as we think, the PB we know from before. He also says this to end the video.
For the record, I wouldn't take hostages.
Very menacing. And in the background corner, we see this blue stuff.